2012.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
So you won in 2012.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Nearly 4 years ago now. Yeah. The morning after winning the Marty, I did a radio interview in the morning with, was it Christopher Lawrence on ABC Classic? And I hadn't woken up in time because I think I was very excited the night before after winning the Marty and couldn't sleep very well that night. And I woke up to about 200 missed calls on my phone and I was still in bed and I was meant to be up and doing this radio interview. And I was on the radio singing Una voce poco fa, which was the aria I had sung the night before, one of the arias I sang in the competition. Oh, it's me on the radio, and oh yes, I should be doing an interview now. So did an interview. And then I think it was October 2012. So after the Marty competition, I was packing up my suitcase. I was going off to New York for the first time, because also that year I'd won this New York award. So I went to New York to pursue a whole lot of study with teachers and coaches in New York. My first time to the States, my first time in New York City, of course, and that opened up a whole new world of opera and study for me. So that was just after I'd finished my Bachelor of Music at the Conservatorium. Oh, no, sorry, my Diploma of Opera at the Conservatorium of Music in Sydney. So it was a whole new stage of my career, and having won the Marty in this final year of my study was just such incredible timing, and it set up a few things for the future for me.
After New York, what did you do then?
By that point, I had found out, at the end of 2012, I'd found out that Opera Australia had offered me a young artist position starting 2014 for 2 years. So that changed my world again, because I think with the Marty money originally, I was planning to move to Germany and start a master's in Germany and continue studying. And so having the job offer changed my whole outlook on what I was going to do. So first I did Così fan tutte in Tokyo with Opera Australia, with Dr. Hander and his production there, which that was also set up through the Marty competition as well. That was an amazing experience, just living in Tokyo for a couple of months and doing my first international opera gig. And then I did 6 months of study, so did a whole lot of summer programs around Italy and the States, and I worked with teachers that I really enjoyed working with and set up some contacts for the future. And so that was 6 months abroad, and then I came back at the end of 2013 to a job with Opera Australia. So that was just a dream come true, and I got to sing at the Sydney Opera House in Il Turco, the Turk in Italy, with Emma Matthews, was one of the singers I shared the stage with. So that was my first ever production with Opera Australia, and since then I have done quite a few productions with them, and my roles have got slightly bigger and more challenging, and I got to sing Una voce poco fa on the Sydney Opera House stage, not in competition but in the actual role. So that was a dream come true, and that was earlier this year in 2016. And I've just finished another Così. I was Dorabella in the new David McVicar production at the Sydney Opera House. So, and that was just finished last week. So yeah, it's been a crazy 3 years.
Today you're performing in the finals of
in the final
year.
Yeah, which is great. My partner, tenor Jonathan Abernathy, he won the Opera Award 2 years ago now, I think. And part of his award is to sing at the final of the Marty. And then they said, Anna, how about you come along too and sing a duet with Jonathan? And so we're both performing a duet, which is nice. He's my real partner. Partner in life and love, yeah. Yeah. Advice I would give young singers to pursue the Marti or a big national competition like the Australian Singing Competition is feel really ready within yourself that you have the self-confidence to do a competition of this stature. I think a few years before I first entered the Marti, my teacher was quite keen for me to do it, but I remember thinking, oh, I'm not quite ready. I'm still working on a few things vocally and hadn't quite accomplished the repertoire required to do a competition, which is usually a few of the show ponies are required. So I think on one year I just thought, oh, I really feel like I could do that and I could take that challenge. So having worked through with your teacher and having some good repertoire ready for a competition standard. And because it is a stressful, if you're lucky enough to go through the semi-final and then of course the big final with the orchestra, it is so new and for me it was so many new things that whole week, and you want to be really self-assured for that time in your career, and you are well aware you have plenty to learn and plenty to work towards, but you want to feel as whatever standard you're up to at that point that you can perform the best you can. Choose repertoire that you really love to sing and would get excited about singing with an orchestra, and that's true to your voice, and don't try and do anything that's beyond your years, because I think adjudicators really love to hear a youthful voice, which is this competition. It's a competition of youthful potential singers. So that would be my advice, and try and have as much fun as possible and ask questions in your interview, ask the advice of the adjudicators, and yeah.
Did you get through the first time?
No, I didn't. So I went for it in 2011. I think Bernadette Cullen was the national adjudicator. She was very encouraging and said, try again. But I remember thinking, okay, it was my first time at it, and I didn't get through to the semi-final or anything. And then the next year, I got through to the semi-final, and obviously to the final.
Yes.
And that was when it was Jeffrey Black was our national adjudicator. Yes, yeah. So yeah, try again as well.
No, it's interesting because people just see you as a success and they don't know how you've had to fight to get to where you've got.
When you look at the statue of the Marti and you feel this pride that it was awarded to you, it sums up for me many hard years of work in my studies, and it set a whole new phase of my career as a singer, or started my career I should say, and it gave me the confidence and to know that what I was doing was on the right track at least, and people appreciated it. When you look at the list of past singers who've won the Marti or competed in this Marti competition, you feel very privileged to be amongst such an esteemed group of singers, Australian singers, or New Zealand singers I should say. So I remember during the competition itself in 2012, it was always a very warm group of people to help you through the competition. Roland, who was always there to encourage you, and Vivian was always behind the scenes, answering all your silly questions, and the whole team were very, very encouraging and supportive. And since then, they have been so lovely and always emailing me when something big has happened in my career and congratulating me and coming along to performances at the Opera House if they can, and also always letting me know how much they enjoyed it. And so I felt very much an alumni of the competition, and they've kept track of my career, and I've tried to keep them in the loop, and I do find them a very important base of support, and I feel very privileged to be within this alumni of singers in this competition. I think no matter if you win or you're in the final or semi-final, they will follow your career. So no, it's a very supportive group of people. Yeah.